The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and or interviews of the following program are solely of the individuals and are not the views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid Coven, the unofficial American Horror Story Coven internet radio show exclusively on Papi Chulo Radio. Today is Wednesday, January 29th, 2014, and I am Papi Chulo. Here on Are You Afraid Coven, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of the hit FX series. We're also going to deliver directly to you the biggest news regarding American Horror Story Coven, so you're going to get all of the casting scoops, episode titles, ratings reports, and spoilers during the latter half of the show, but don't worry, we're going to warn you with a spoiler alert. Please welcome my co-hosts. I only have two tonight. They're dropping faster than the Covenites from Miss Robichaux's Academy. First up, we have a woman that loves a calico cat. Cats meow.
No.
Yes.
I had to really think about that.
Yes.
No!
I was like, what does that have anything to do with
It
the
does,
show?
and we'll discuss it in a little bit. Next up, we have a man who has completed 6 of the 7 wonders, Marshall Evans.
Yes! Yes, I'll take that one. Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Why does he
Unfortunately,
get a good one.
well, the Calico Cat wasn't that bad.
I don't get it.
You'll understand it in a second. It's one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Oh, okay.
So, unfortunately, Darielle is not here. As we learned last week, she was sliced up into 50 pieces, but with the help of Papa Legba, we stitched her back together, but unfortunately, we lost her in her own personal hell, but she will be back next week for the finale. And Deadly, right now, we're trying not to disturb him while he's playing with his instrument, and he is rocking a $12 suit. So he will be here next week as well. This is our penultimate episode of the season. Much like American Horror Story Coven, there's only one more episode left of Are You Afraid Coven before we go into hibernation and come back around October with the brand new season of American Horror Story, wherever that's going to take place. So we're really excited to share what we saw and our opinions with all of you listeners. So let's jump on into our recap of episode 312, which was titled Go to Hell, and it aired on January 22nd, 2014. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. Cordelia's latest vision puts the Coven's future in question. With the end of Fiona's reign approaching, the girls manifest powerful new gifts. Queenie's search for Marie Laveau leads her to hell and back. So without getting too deep into the episode, I want to get everyone's initial reactions, and since I hardly ever go first, I'm going to go first. I loved the episode. For me, it was my most favorite episode since the season premiere. I feel it was the strongest episode. A whole lot of shit happened. A whole lot of shit hit the fan. A whole lot of shit hit someone else in the face, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Something that I think all of us that have seen the previous seasons of American Horror Story have collectively agreed upon is that usually towards the end of the season, they really try to just rapidly wrap things up. And usually it's a little messy and it's a little confusing and it's not done in a proper way. For me, this episode did it the right way. It's crammed a whole lot into the hour. It wrapped up a lot of storylines. It got rid of the 3 divas within the span of like 12 minutes, but it all sort of made sense, and it was very fluid and thoroughly enjoyable, in my opinion. I was left satisfied, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they wrap the whole thing up next week. So we'll start off with Marshall. What did you think? Or I should say we should continue with Marshall. What did you think of the episode, initial reactions?
Well, I actually enjoyed this episode, and I'm really shocked because, as you guys know, for the last 2 episodes, it's been crap. Like, I just really felt like it was crap. But I feel like maybe they have different writers writing different episodes, because whoever wrote this episode was definitely not the person that wrote last week's episode. And if he is, then thank God for Viagra, because like literally in this episode, a lot of questions were answered. And I have to agree with you. I kind of was satisfied with what happened to the divas. And I also have to give shouts out to Kat's Meow, because she called it in last week's show when she specifically said she believed something was going to happen, and she gave a great reason why. And it came to be, not only did she get what was going to happen right, but even her reasoning behind it was right. So I have to give it up to my girl, because she hit it right on the head, just perfectly. So that was great to see. I mean, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, she must have read the script. But overall,
she wrote the script.
Yeah, overall, I was very satisfied. There was only one thing that happened, and that was an emergence of a particular character that I thought was gone. And that was the only thing that I looked at it, and I was like, okay, not feeling it. Not feeling it. But everything else in the episode was wonderful. Queenie was literally, I feel like for this episode, this was episode Queenie, which was something that never happened with Nan, really. But I kind of feel like, I know that there was a lot going on, but for some reason I feel like this was Queenie's episode. So I was
American Horror Story, Queenie.
Yeah, I really did feel like it was her story. So I was satisfied.
Oh, this episode was amazing. It took me back to the golden days. Episode 1, 2, 3.
Right.
I was like, throwback. Like, I was really happy, and I left. It definitely left me wanting more. And I was like, there's that American Horror Story shit. That's the person I know. Look at you, Ryan Murphy. But, like, oh my goodness. It's really weird, Marshall, because I completely forgot that I predicted.
What you predicted.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you predicted, which I'm sure Marshall will reveal later on.
Like, when he said it, I was like, shit, I did. But it was amazing, and it definitely was Queenie's story, and I was happy with that.
Yes.
And I got to see why people thought Papa Legba was scary, because at first I didn't find him scary. And then this episode, I was like, I feel bad for laughing at Leg Boo Boo. What did she say, Leg Boo Boo? Papa. I was rolling.
Yeah.
But when they showed him
Beetlejuice,
I about peed my pants.
Yeah,
so
when you saw really who he really was.
Yeah, it was like that go-tos don't play. So I was like, but I loved it. Overall, it left me almost just with my mouth open, and it had a Justin Timberlake song playing in my head for the Axeman. You know, what goes around comes around. Mm-hmm. So it was good. Mm-hmm. A++.
Yeah, it was good.
Shazam. Well, let's jump into the actual episode, and we'll start off at the very beginning, where we see this old-timey, black and white, very cheesy, almost like an Ed Wood type of movie, where we learn exactly what goes on with the 7 wonders. We actually learn exactly what the 7 wonders are. It's the test to find the next Supreme. Only a Supreme will be able to complete each of the 7 tests. The 7 tests include, in order, telekinesis, which is the moving of objects with your mind; concilium, which is mind control, actually controlling people with your mind, making them do unusual things or things that they weren't anticipating doing; transmutation, which is teleportation; divination, which is, I would assume, a form of clairvoyance, where the example that they gave was that someone was holding a bird behind their back, and the witch that was doing the exam drew what was being held, what was being held and hidden from her. Then there's vitalum vitalis, which is bringing someone back to life, bringing someone dead back to life. Then there's dissension, which is going into the afterlife and returning safely. And then pyrokinesis, which is burning things, creating fire. And Fiona tells Queenie that once someone performs them, they are the next supreme. Queenie is all pumped up by the speech, but Fiona also tells her that Queenie's going to have to perform the Seven Wonders on Saturday. Queenie was not impressed. She had Fiona's number. She knew that Fiona just wanted to kill off the competition, but Fiona was telling her that she's all wrong. She was tired. She was ready to go. Queenie's basically tells her BS, and then Fiona is getting disturbed by Queenie's lack of faith. She uses her telekinetic powers to strangle Queenie, and argument is over. But of course, Queenie was worried. She wants to know what happened to Marie Laveau. Fiona doesn't have any answers because obviously she doesn't know what happened. And Queenie is walking through Cordelia's garden. She hears sort of like the screams of Marie Laveau, and after taking the initiative and using let's call it a spell book, she performs dissension, and she sends her soul out of her body into the nether regions beyond the living. Apparently, in the world of American Horror Story, hell isn't a communal place, for lack of a better word. Hell is your own personal hell. Hell is the moment in your life where you were at your worst. And for Queenie, that was her old chicken shack. That was the worst time of her life, as Papa Legba told her. He was standing in front of the line, and he wouldn't let anyone else pass. Apparently, for one of the denizens of the afterlife, his own punishment was waiting in line outside of the chicken shack, always smelling the chicken, but never tasting it. So she ended up finding her way out of hell, and Papa Legba started to give her a bit of answers over some hot cocoa. Extra marshmallows, please. Papa gave her some visions of Marie and Delphine. Delphine finally got her own revenge on Marie. Delphine chopped Marie into very tiny little pieces, scattered them around New Orleans, much like what Marie was planning on doing to Delphine. And Queenie, sort of using her smarts and reason, convinced, or at least explained to Papa I should say, first she said that she wanted to kill Delphine, but Papa says that Delphine can't die as long as Marie Laveau lived, and so then Queenie told Papa that, the deal that Papa Legba had made with Marie is no longer valid, because if Delphine had chopped Marie into tiny little pieces and scattered her all over the city, there's no way that Marie can do her yearly sacrifice to him of bringing him an innocent soul. So technically, the contract is null and void. And Papa sort of gave Queenie some props as to her reasoning and her deduction and figuring that out. And then we're led to seeing Queenie tracking down Madame Lalaurie. She got a makeover. She got a new haircut. She dyed her hair. She's wearing some makeup on. I guess she's ready for her RuPaul's Drag Race now. And she officially is the tour guide of the Lalaurie home. But with the new haircut and the new clothes, she decided to retell her life story as the tour guide, revising some of the bad parts out of the official history. So no longer was there a torture chamber, no longer was she a sadistic mass murderer serial killer, but those were just rumors that her enemies were making up about her, that apparently Lalaurie was a saint and a charitable woman. What we find out is that in fact Lalaurie had visited the now museum, and after disagreeing with what the tour guide was saying, she stuck around after the tour and said that her pocketbook, she left it up in the attic. They went up to the attic, and she kills. Well, I don't want to say kills because we see the tour guide later, but she knocks the tour guide out by bludgeoning her, and then that's how she took over the role of tour guide at the LaLaurie Museum. So we see Queenie and Marie. Sorry, not Marie. We see Queenie and LaLaurie have a confrontation. Basically, Queenie is still trying to somewhat see if there's any type of humanity with LaLaurie. Queenie thought that they were friends, that she was finally getting to her, and that somehow what Queenie was explaining to her about Delphine's treatment of the slaves was somehow getting into to her and seeing if Delphine could be redeemed. But LaLaurie tells her that, at the time that she cried after the day-long marathon of Roots and old civil rights footage, it wasn't because of some sort of sadness or regret of what she did. That wasn't the reason why she cried. It was because of the state of the world. She goes on to say something like, to tell a colored man that he can be equal to a white man, and Queenie's telling her, it doesn't have to end like this. You can be redeemed. You can go to the local ACLU and you can volunteer and you can help the descendants of the people that she brutalized. But Delphine refused to apologize. She refused the idea of redemption. We sort of saw a montage of public apologies from Paula Deen to Anthony Weiner to Elliot Spitzer. And, she goes on to say something like, you think they were sorry. They're sorry that they got caught. That's all that it was. And in that, Queenie sort of sees that Delphine will never be apologetic about what she did. So Queenie gave up on helping Delphine. Queenie stabs her, and the immortal woman felt the wound. She's surprised, she didn't think that she would be able to die. And then in those last moments of her life, Delphine screams, "I don't want to die." And Queenie responds, "Tough shit. Who does?" So off with Delphine. Delphine finally gets her comeuppance, and Queenie was the one to deliver it. So I'm going to stop right here because that was a whole lot of what I just said, and there's a whole lot more to talk about. So everyone, the two of you, what did you two think of us finally understanding what the Seven Wonders were, as well as Queenie visiting her own personal hell, her conversation over some hot cocoa with Papa Legba, and then the what do you want to call it? The death of Delphine LaLaurie. We'll start off with Miss Kitty.
It was amazing. I was so damn happy to see Delphine come to an end because she was just so emotionally exhausting. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was towards the end, hearing her, I was afraid that I was becoming numb to like what she was saying, because it just felt like, I'm just so tired of hearing, I'm just so tired of seeing you on the screen that it's just whatever you're saying, I just don't give a fuck about no more. So I was getting really nervous, and I'm just like, am I becoming like desensitized to like whatever she's like saying or whatever? But I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I love how they just... I like that they're using this episode to kind of just wrap up anything outside of the Coven. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy that, because I would have been upset if they're going to pull a season 2 thing and do their thing or whatever. That personal thing, that personal hell thing in the chicken shack, I felt like that was my personal hell, because I too once slang the foul bird. And,
and you mean you slang the delicious bird?
To this day, it's rare that you'll catch me eating fried chicken, because that I felt Queenie. I felt that personal hell, because for 2.5 years I was serving up fried chicken.
Were you at Popeyes?
Oh hell no. I was at a grocery store, and it was horrible. I had a woman actually threaten my life and tried to follow me out to my car to beat me up.
You better give me my chicken.
Yes, it was that serious. Like her and her posse,
People
they saw me and my
don't play.
boyfriend at
They
a
need their
grocery
chicken.
store, and they ran over his foot with their cart. Like people don't fucking play. So like I felt that, and I was like, oh, like I felt everything that she felt. Papa Legba was fucking scary. He's scary, hands down. Like I understand why they think he's scary. I just lived for everything. To be honest with you, I didn't have an issue with anything. And hey, to her doing her thing in her own house.
Yeah, I had to say that.
Yeah, that was good. I never really thought about that. She got killed in her own damn house. In her torture chamber. That was classic.
But I think, it's so funny because it was great. I actually liked the montage at the beginning because it was done in the historic silent movie way, and I thought that was very unique and really different, and it still explained everything. And if you didn't know how to read, then it reminded you that you needed to take your ass back to school. So that was kind of cool. For me, I have to say this, that if Queenie does not turn out to be the Supreme, I'm going to be highly pissed. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you look at the Seven Wonders, Queenie's done everything but fire. She's done, if you look, she's done the leaving this space, going there. She's done the transmutation. She's done the divination. The divination was demonstrated at the table. At the table, she knew exactly what was going on. She said, I don't even really need to still read your mind. Did she not say that?
But I'm trying to remember what scene you're talking
the
about.
Scene at the very beginning. At the very beginning.
The
reason why.
Oh, okay.
The reason why she attacked her is because Queenie was she was reading her mind. She was doing divination.
I haven't seen her teleport.
Oh no, I was so mad at that. Can we get into that, please? I was so upset.
No, we'll talk about that in a second.
But
I didn't mean to skip you, but I was just like, damn.
No, that's okay. But the one thing that I will say is that none of the other girls have ever been able to move cement. None of the other girls have been shot by a silver bullet and lived. Bring themselves back to life. Bring themselves back to life. Not somebody else bring them back to life. And then she also brought Lala Ree back to life.
Oh, Misty Day.
And Day back to life. She brought both of them back.
Well, Lala Ree, she was alive. She just put her together.
She put her back together and healed her. So,
she stitched up her own Frankenstein.
I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Frank and Lala Ree.
We'll talk about this at the end because there's a fear that I have that's going to happen. And I'm scared that that's what's going to happen next week. And if it does, it really will piss me off. But back to this. With Queenie, like the fact that she really, with Papa Legba, she really had a conversation. Like the reason why he showed her that stuff is because he respected her. Notice that it was like out of respect. He was like, if you can get out of this, then I'll give you what you need. As if he expected her to be stuck there. And when she popped back up at home, he was like, his reaction to her was like, whoa, you're back. Like he was so shocked. Which also is...
I don't think his voice cracked like that.
No,
though.
Of course not. But anyway, it's just that was really cool. For me, this was about like showing Queenie had really like grown up. Like she really had grown up. Like she had become a force to reckon with. And I just appreciated that because throughout this whole thing we had been complaining, and I kind of wish that Nan was still in the story because it would have been wonderful to see, like, you know what I mean? Where would she be now? Like, where would she be in terms of strength and power now? So that was, but, it is what it is. But I really enjoyed that. I do appreciate the fact that Queenie killed Lala Ree.
Yeah, it felt right.
It felt like it had to be Queenie. Queenie had been raped by a Minotaur, saving Lala Ree.
Well, we're still not sure, but let's pretend yes.
But yeah, that was weird. I'm glad
she was playing with something.
Like I'm glad we never touched. They never really touched up on that because that was just a really unnecessary fucking story.
Emphasis on the word touch.
Like
anyway,
I hope it's just a big old question mark.
But she still stood in between the gap, keeping Lala Ree alive, right? So like, and then she put her back together again, and it just feels like. This heifer didn't have any respect. So I'm glad that she got stabbed in the heart. And then even in today, you saw she was still killing people.
Yeah, she's a crazy bitch.
You know, so I was like,
Love you, Kathy Bates, but you
you're
played a crazy bitch.
crazy
Did
woman.
anyone start hating Kathy Bates?
I don't think they hate her personally.
Like, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, because she played her a little bit too well. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
She's a good actress.
I like at the
Kathy
end, I
Bates'
was
wife
happy to
is.
see her to see her go. Like, I don't know. I felt like a personal hate towards her for a little bit because I was
Well,
just like,
I
"There's
just
no fucking way that she's like playing this,"
well,
because it really like affected me a little bit.
well, but she was playing her character, and she's a very good actress. Don't forget, she's an Academy Award, Golden Globe Award, several Emmys. This is, you know, everybody talks about Meryl Streep. And that's because the heifer is still skinny and blonde. And, you know, Kathy's a big
I
girl.
liked her on Death
Big
Becomes
girl.
Her. That's why I like
Right. But I'm
Meryl
still
Streep.
saying in terms of, you know, work, you know, Kathy Bates has done some amazing, amazing work. And she is believable. She plays realism. So that's why you've probably felt that. But I know personally in her life, she is very connected to the African American community. So my question to her was, how hard was this to do? I personally believe it was probably very difficult. And from what I heard from an interview with her and Angela Bassett and Jessica Lange, she admits that Angela helped get her through this because it's hard for her to do. It's a hard character to play. So, I'm going to leave it at that. You know, that would be my question. I wouldn't necessarily be like, but I would say that it was great for her to die in the way that she did. And I also appreciate that Ryan Murphy did not make Queenie look like vengeful. Even throughout the end, Queenie was trying to still save her.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she knew that I could kill you right now and it's over with, she still was doing everything in her power, every persuasive thing that she could think of to try to win her over. And this woman was just hateful. And when she died, it was very much like Queenie going, I'm done. I tried it. We've done everything we can. Girl, I done put you together. I saved your head when it was supposed to be set on fire. I've done everything and you still not grateful. So, girl, I took you out to eat for your first cheeseburger and you're just still ungrateful. You're still ungrateful. You're not, you don't
I know,
even.
you bitch. She gave you a delightful hamburger. You never appreciated it.
So
she really didn't.
So, I mean, I think for me, that whole storyline was great. Now, about Papa Legba, I think the actor, he's phenomenal. We all know that from Oz, and I mean,
he is so hot.
And from The Wire. He's just an amazing, amazing actor. And I think now that I look at it, I couldn't see anybody else playing it. That line that he played, that was very much like you weren't scared of him, but your ass should be. And when you get to hell, you'll find out why. Like, he was very, very, very good. He didn't play the boogeyman. He just played the devil.
He played the boss.
Right. He didn't play a boogeyman like what you know what I mean? Like, you should be scared of me. Like, he never played that.
I liked the way that
Who's
he
the
played
boss?
him, but it was just everything. I liked his French accent.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't over the top. It was like here and there. I really
more
liked
like Creole.
That. Well, isn't Creole like a part of French? Isn't
Yeah,
that?
it is.
I was about to say.
But it's a little different.
So
like they would say it's different.
No, well, there's French Creole and then there's Creole. There's French
What's
Creole.
The difference?
And Creole. There's American Creole, which is basically what's the combination of the French ancestors, the African ancestors, the Indian ancestors, and the white Southerners who made up the people that now live in the Bayou. And their diction is very different from French Creole, which are from the Haitian immigrants that came into the southern
so would
of the country.
He be French?
He to me, I was hearing more French Creole.
Okay, and would
Going
you
down the
consider
bayou, baby.
Would you consider Delphine to be Creole then?
Yes.
Okay, but the American Creole.
But Delphine was Creole, but so was Lalaurie. Lalaurie was also Creole.
Delphine is Lalaurie.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's what I meant.
Okay,
I knew that. I
I got scared. I was like, is there another person I don't know about?
No, Delphine. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that, but Delphine is definitely Creole. And the difference between the American Creole is that the French society never accepted them, which is why that whole scene with her coming back from France and being mad.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't understand that at first because I was like, why is she not speaking with the real French accent? But she sort of explained it herself. She was like, that she had to leave New Orleans to go to Paris, and then she didn't like the experience there, and so then she came back.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie, though, that there's something about like the mysticism of New Orleans and that French. There's something about it. I totally wish I was Creole so bad. And hearing him hearing him in his French accent, yeah,
he spooks me out. Like I'm getting goosebumps.
I had
just
baiting
thinking about
material for like weeks. I'm
my
good.
Oh my God! Like for me, he gave me goosebumps, particularly in the. Well, we're going to talk about the scene that he really scared me. Because when you think of the devil,
to go to the back of the line, and he's never going to get chicken. Like, I wonder what kind of life did that man lead for that to be his lowest point, for that to be his personal hell, to never.
Well, he might have been a thief.
He might have
stolen from fast food restaurants.
Like, that is crazy.
But it was also,
if you get mad about not being able to eat it, imagine serving it. Like, ugh.
But I think that's what it is. I think it is like your lowest point. Like even the girl that was in the line that was cussing her out about the chicken, evidently what it really was is that she can't serve the chicken. No matter if she scoops it up and puts it on the plate and gives it to him, the chicken disappears. So she's trying to do the work. That's hell. You're trying to do it and you can't. And then the people are getting angry. So everybody's in hell because there's people waiting online. They can never get the chicken. They can smell it, never get it. The person that's in the front of the line, you're right there and you can't get it. And the person that's serving it can't get it to you, so they're being verbally abused forever, for eternity.
That is crazy.
So everybody is receiving their punishment. And don't forget what his threat. His threat was either you get back in line or don't make me throw you into the fire.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed.
Well, because for me, I'm like, well...
Because it was almost comedic. He was like, don't make me throw you back into the... Like, don't make me throw you in the fire. I was like...
Right.
I mean, like,
if you think about it, that's kind of scary. Like, okay, you can stand in line and be hungry for eternity, or you can stand or be thrown into the lake of fire and be burned for eternity. Your choice.
I'm going to take waiting in the line for 500, Alex.
But either way, you're still in... punishment for
but that like I'm gonna have to see like I'm gonna have to see a little bit of happiness like I'm just gonna have to wait in the line. Okay,
because at first I think people would not think that would be hell, but can you imagine like being hungry for eternity?
Like, can you imagine what's gonna happen to Delphine? I'd rather wait in line than what's gonna happen to her.
Well, yeah, we got to talk about that because that whole scene right there, I have to admit, that really did scare me. Like, I'm like, if you're an evil person, that scene, and I'm not an evil person, I know I'm not an evil person, but just watching that scene, that would make you like, look, I'm volunteering for every good cause for the rest of my life. That was, we'll get to it, but that was the scariest scene. That to me was the American Horror Story scene. That shit right there, that scared me. All the other stuff, the Minotaurs and Axemen, they didn't scare me. But that
beef curtains,
that scared me. That really scared me. Because I was just like, I'm never doing nothing wrong again. That's scary.
Speaking of doing something wrong, Fiona is continuing her farewell tour, unlike Stevie Nicks, because Stevie Nicks is still rocking it apparently. Fiona
Fiona's lead.
Fiona sat down for her portrait. She looked at herself she looked at her reflection and she saw a woman, with her youth long gone, knowing that way, the way that she is at that moment is how she would always be remembered. Elsewhere in the house, Cordelia, with her blood-shot eyes, is trying to figure out if her second sight came back. She enters the girls' room, and Madison is there, and Cordelia is trying to touch Madison that sounded nasty, to see if if the second sight is back, but Madison is using her transmutation power to teleport all over the place so that Cordelia does not get her hands on her. And Cordelia is like, well, if you have nothing to hide, you should let me touch you to see if I can see anything. Madison, being the cocky bitch that she is, decides to allow Cordelia to touch her, but Cordelia can't see anything. Later on, Fiona enters Cordelia's room, and Fiona tells her, why don't we be nice to each other for a change? I'm about to die. I'm about to pass on the power so that the Supreme can rise. She's trying to make peace with her reblinded daughter. Fiona offers Cordelia one of her most precious heirlooms. It's a necklace that her mother had given to her. And Cordelia was somewhat moved. She's like, you're saying goodbye. And as Fiona puts the necklace on her daughter, just like that, Cordelia's second sight returned, but in a different kind of way, as opposed to sort of seeing the past as she was the first time around. This time she can see the future, and just like that, she saw this weird apocalyptic future where all of Miss Robichaux's was ruined, in the sense that Madison, Zoe, Misty, Queenie, they were all dead. Even Cordelia laid dead on the ground with a bullet hole in her forehead. The final survivor, Fiona, she grabbed her mother's necklace off of her dead daughter's body, and with that, Cordelia sprang into action. But before she sprang into action, she did ask for her grandmother's ring. So Cordelia heads over to visit the Axeman. The serial killer is practicing, and Cordelia wanted to open the Axeman's eyes. Basically, she tells him that Fiona can't love anybody but herself. She says that she's going to kill all of us and leave you behind as well. And she told him that Fiona has already purchased a ticket to a faraway place, and that there isn't a matching ticket for her lover, the Axeman. The Axeman wasn't sure what to really think. He's trying to believe Cordelia, but he wants to believe that his love with Fiona is real. Cordelia didn't stop there. She grabbed some of Misty Day's stuff, and she managed to figure out where Misty was. She was buried alive, singing the Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac classic Landslide. And she took Queenie with her to the cemetery, and she asked Queenie to use her power of telekinesis to break through the, what is that called, like a mausoleum?
Yeah, it was a mausoleum.
Yeah, to break through the stone of the mausoleum and to yank the coffin out. And it seemed as if Misty Day was gone for good. She wasn't breathing. So Queenie used her power of Vitalis, what is it called? Vitalis Validum, something like that. And she brought Misty Day back to life. Now, they're back at Miss Robichaux's academy. Madison and Myrtle witnessed the surprise return of Zoe and Kyle. They went all the way to Florida before deciding that actually they would rather not go to Florida. Zoe had a bit of a revelatory moment when a hobo unleashed his wrath on Kyle, who then killed him, and Zoe managed to bring him back to life. She would no longer run away from who she was. Clearly, she was the next Supreme. Unless it was Queenie, or Madison, or Misty Day, I guess. So Misty returned, and she chose that exact moment to slap Madison in the face and then knock the starlet over. "Get up, Hollywood," she yelled, and she set aside her peaceful Zen nature for an old-fashioned beatdown.
Yes, she did, honey. Yes, she
and
did.
what a fight it was. Misty threw Madison every which way she could against the column, kicked her in the stomach many times. It literally looked like she was about to kill her. And I think she would have if the Axeman hadn't decided to choose that moment to appear, covered in blood, looking like Carrie at the end of the prom, screaming, "You're all gonna pay for what you've done." And bam. We'll stop right here, because I think this is a great moment to stop. And I want to get everyone's opinions on Cordelia, her second sight, Fiona's farewell tour, and Cordelia visiting the Axeman, as well as Cordelia with Queenie, Misty Day, and of course that epic beatdown. And why not? Let's chat about Zoe and Kyle returning. So we'll start off with Marshall.
Well, Frank and Kyle and Zoe, really, that was the only thing in the whole episode that I just was like, I don't get it, and I don't want them here, and I want them to go away. Just period. Because I've said it from the beginning, I feel like they were a stupid story, and I just feel like they got thrown in at the end because they wanted to make sure that the whole coven was together. But if that was the case, then they should have found a way to bring back Nan, who I thought was a little bit more interesting to begin with. So for me, if Nan can't come back, then why this heifer back? I just don't get it. So that's just really...
Because she's the next Supreme, duh.
Well, but everybody's the next Supreme. It seems like.
Ain't that the truth?
So nobody knows who the next
Cat's
Supreme
Meow is the next Supreme.
Actually, Cat's Meow and I were talking about the biggest fear that we have that we may actually be right about. But which I think will probably piss both of us off next week if that happens. But anyway, going back to this, Frank, like I said, that was the only section I didn't really care for. Honey, I went in. I got my life. When Madison got that ass whooped old-fashioned style. Yes, Misty Day. Yes, Misty Day. She came up out the grave.
I felt like I should have been paying like pay-per-view for that.
Yes, honey, because she whipped that ass all over the place. And you could tell people all year, all season have been sitting there going, God, I can't stand her, and I wish I could slap her. Honey, she slapped her, and my favorite line was, I don't have to use no powers, I could just use my hands. She whooped that girl like they was in Compton. And the bitch stole her weave. She whooped that girl's ass. That
is what I call an ass whooping.
Yes, but what was killing me and making me laugh through the whole thing? How come all the witches are just following? And Queenie was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Queenie was like, what? Oh, I'm sorry. No, Cordelia was like, what? What's going on?
The girls would not tell her that she was getting her butt whooped.
I bet this is all she heard.
Yes, Matt. Well, no, and then wait a minute. And how come Big Red is over there hollering about, this is so fast. Why are you using your hands? I was rolling. She wasn't breaking them up. She was all calm. Like, girls, y'all are being very crass and ill-bred. You're using your hands to fight. As if she was like, use your magic. If you go fight old-fashioned style. What's all of this, it was hilarious. It was the scene for me that was one of the big scenes for me of the night. That was great. Because I think everybody has been building up for that to happen. I mean, honestly, I really do. And if anybody says, nah, then you're lying. Everybody wanted to see Madison get her butt kicked. Because she was just nasty. So I appreciate that Misty Day dropped the mystical, all is right with the world, space age, kumbaya stuff.
It was so weird. Like, she was trying to act exactly like Stevie Nicks. I have never felt so uncomfortable in my life.
Mm-hmm. She is Stevie Nicks.
No, I've been like security.
But when she came back from the dead, honey, she came back as Misty Day. It was very clear she was Misty Day. And she was not having it. She whooped that
Maybe
girl.
she was just tired of dying. That was her second time dying. First time by fire. Second time suffocation. Buried alive.
But she survived that, but she didn't survive this one. This one was, one of her sisters, Coven sisters, bringing her back. So I love that. That was great. And Yeah, the Axeman, yeah. Somebody called it. Somebody knew what was going to happen. I think somebody read the script or has a friend that works for the show. That's the only reason why she knew what was going to happen. But
I'm
yeah,
telling you. Sucking
yeah.
dick, get your places, kid.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
oh my
I'm
God.
kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding so
Well,
much.
it got you your job here on the
Oh
station.
my God. I
I'm
don't
still
care.
wiping my mouth, Poppy. No, I'm kidding. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna have to agree with Marshall. I was about to place bet. I was about to place a bet. Somebody should have told me about the betting ring so I could put my money on Misty J because that was a good old fashioned ass whooping. And I got my life child. I was like, whoop that ass, whoop that ass,
Me
That's
whoop
called
too.
a.
that ass.
That's called
Me
in the
too.
swamp. We call that
Like I was
wrestling.
just like, damn. I was like, no, that wasn't wrestling. That was a good old
That was
fashioned
ass
ass
whooping. That
whooping.
was an ass
That was
whooping,
ass
honey.
whooping. Like
Yes, that was an
I
ass
was
whooping.
like, whoo, whoo, girl. I was like, them swamps taught you something. Taught you a good hook.
And
Anyway,
she was beating the hell out of her.
she was. I was like, girl, go ahead. And then she kicked her on the ass. I was like, okay, you doing your thing. I'm gonna watch you do your thing from over here. And can I put 50 on Misty Day, please?
But
I
but I'm
felt
still
like
laugh.
I felt like Cordelia's scenes was brought to you by the hashtag of please put some damn sunglasses on because your eyes is freaking the fuck out of me and making me want to
Yeah, they were
lose
really
my
nasty.
shit. I
She finally
every time
did
she
though.
came in the scene, I was just like, ugh. I was like, even like, I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
here's my thing.
Stevie
If she
Wonder
would have
had the
poked her
damn common
eyes,
decency to put some damn glasses on. Like hers, it looked like spoiled eggs. I swear to God,
it
like,
didn't look
literally,
realistic
it
though.
didn't.
Like
But
if
it
she
made
would
me
have
say,
poked her eyes the way that she did, the way that we saw her do, like there really shouldn't have been anything there.
I was just like, it made me want to puke. Just every time she came into a scene, I had to like cover my eyes and just listen to her. So I was just like, child can't be bothered. And they kept showing close up of her eyes. And I just feel like I feel that feeling coming back.
They look like huevos rancheros.
Oh my god! It's
You know,
like
like the eggs with the tomato in
when you
it.
Yeah,
suck
no.
on an
Yeah.
M&M for too long and it turns gray. That's what her
Ew.
eyes.
I've never had that happen,
Well,
and that sounds disgusting.
you'll have to. Do it. I like to suck the coating off of the M&Ms, then eat them. But like, just suck on an M&M until they turn until all the color comes off, and that's what her eyes look like. It looks so fucking gross. Like I was just like, please put some damn sunglasses on. I don't care what the hell you put on your eyes. It could be a blindfold. It could be I don't care what it is. Just please put some damn sunglasses on. Even if it's Geordie LaForge's thingy, put it on your face because it's gross. It's just so gross. But I just had an issue with that so much. The Axeman. Bye. No one has fully explained how she, is he a ghost? Is he
Well, no,
human?
they did. They did, and when he's gonna read it, because they did. They did.
Okay, I was just like, it took them this long. It's just like, damn, I was tired of seeing Ghost Hunch. Like, I couldn't deal with it. I was just like, this is not vivid entertainment. I was done with it. But
Shout out to Vivid Entertainment.
shout out to Vivid Entertainment. That's something you may have to do, but this was not about that. And then I'm just really confused about everyone reviving people. And Witch number 3 and Frank and Kyle. I don't really give a fuck about their story.
Which number 3?
How do you start off? This is how they started off. We started with you having sex, boo. That's how we started the season. Oh, you remember?
Yep. Yes.
You remember that? The dude had the aneurysm, eye blowing out. You didn't know what the fuck was going on. Then you remember you had death by coochie. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? All of a
So,
sudden, girl, now you a background. You a background. You an extra now. Nobody give a fuck about you. You should have stayed in Florida where you belong, boo boo. No one gives a fuck. Just because you brought the hobo back to life, don't mean you the supreme. The only supreme you gonna be is when they put the sour cream on top of the taco, boo boo. Have a seat. Go back to Florida. Bye. What the
Oh,
hell?
I love a Doritos Locos Taco Supreme.
And that's the only supreme she gonna be of when she working at Taco Bell because she's trying to make love last forever. Boo boo. Keith Sweat is not here. LSG ain't got nowhere to sing to you about love, sweetheart. You need to go somewhere. You need to go get yourself an education. What you need to do. You need to take the lead and just start killing these dudes with your pussy and then running off with their money and then just doing your thing and leaving Kyle do his thing. And then if it's meant to be, y'all come back. But
Jesus,
goodbye.
what in the world? No, I mean,
I don't even know what she's talking about
but I
anymore.
mean, for me, it just, if they do set it up that she is the Supreme, I will be very upset about it. And the reason why I'll be upset about it is because I'll feel like, once again, Hollywood went with the easy choice. You know, the pretty girl.
Well, let's not talk about who we think the Supreme. We'll save that to the end. But I do want to hear your argument about it, and I have my own feelings that I think we're going to share about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When? About now or later?
No. We'll talk about that before the end.
Okay.
We still haven't gotten to the end.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go.
Okay, well, let's jump back in.
Well, you never said how you felt about that scene.
Well, yeah, okay, so let me do that. I love the ass kicking. I mean, I think we've all wanted to kick Madison's ass just like that at some point. In my opinion, Madison started off as a fun character, but then they just ran her into the ground. Once they brought her back to life and she came back extra bitchy.
They didn't know what to do with her, but put her as Fiona #2014. She's
exactly.
Fiona
she's Fiona Jr. She's the new version of
the
Fiona.
The dress that she was wearing was similar to something that Fiona was wearing when she was around her age. I was just like, "Hi, witch number 2. How you doing? Where you life at?"
And what made it so bad is that she supposedly she doesn't feel anything. So we know that the ass kicking she didn't feel. That's why she
she did. That's where her ass was. People feel that shit when they don't have the strength. They don't have the strength to get up, and they was crawling away. They was skidding away like a roach when you turn on the light. No. She felt that.
She couldn't feel anything. I thought she couldn't feel anything.
Well, I think it was more so she couldn't feel anything inside.
Maybe mentally. Who knows? You look at the American Horror Story.
I don't know. Or maybe she's gotten better. Who knows? Yeah, but I like that. It was nice to finally see Cordelia do something. I really enjoyed Cordelia when she was initially blinded because she actually became interesting, and somehow this episode, upon getting blinded again, she became a little bit more interesting. I liked the dynamic between her and Queenie, and even the very little that we saw with her and Misty Day, and it was nice to see her have that discussion with the Axeman, which leads us to the continuation of the story. So, back at Miss Robichaux's, we see the Axeman. Once again, he's covered in blood, much like Carrie at the end of the prom. He comes on in with his axe and he says, "You're all gonna pay for what you've done." And but whose blood was the Axeman wearing? Cordelia uses her second sight, and she saw her mother, the Supreme.
Can I ask you a question? Who was the person that pushed him away? I don't remember who it was. Who pushed
Everybody.
him?
Yeah, they all pushed him. They all lifted their hands up.
They were like, "Nope."
And I forget, it was a big red that said, "You walked into the wrong house."
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so we saw a flashback scene, and this was one of my favorite scenes of the episode. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but upon sort of reading different reviews, because I didn't really notice it at the beginning either, but it was like a 5-minute plus scene, and like 95% of it was all shot in one take. It was like that classic, one take style of scene, which is always fantastic to see because it's almost like watching a play because there are no cuts. Like everyone has to know their mark. They have to know exactly what their lines are. I mean, they've got to do the whole take all over again if they get something wrong. So it was outstanding to see, between Jessica Lange and Danny Houston, who he's one of the Houstons of that great family that Angelica Houston is a part of and all that stuff. So it was really great scene to see. So we see the flashback. We see Fiona entering the Axeman's apartment. He's not playing his instrument. She's surprised by that. And they have this long discussion where basically she admits the truth to him. They start talking, and once her back is turned, he rummages through her purse and he sees a printed copy of her her boarding pass, her ticket to leave New Orleans. And initially, the conversation was all about, the Axeman trying to convince Fiona to take a little trip with him, go catfishing, hunting, Fiona on the porch, drinking gin rickeys, and she sort of laughs it off. She doesn't tell him no, she doesn't say yes. So once he sees the boarding passes, he sort of realizes everything that Cordelia was saying was true. And Fiona just tells him to it straight, tells him, straight up, no sugar. I guess I loved you, although I don't really know anything about love, if I'm going to be honest. And, she says something to the gist of that the Axeman was her distraction, a life preserver, but she's ready to come back onto dry land. And that after the Supreme is dead, or I should say the new Supreme is dead, she's going to have 30 years of vitality. And, she's, possibly in another 30 years, if she can find the other Supreme, she can kill that one off and live even longer. And the Axeman, obviously, is a bit disappointed in hearing Fiona sort of drowning out her real emotions. And the Axeman obviously is not liking where the conversation is going. He's insisting to her that he made her feel things that no one else ever had. Was he right? Was he wrong? No one really knows for Fiona, but Fiona seems to be under the impression that it really wasn't this one true love type of thing. He forces her onto the bed. She kicks him off. Initially, for a second there, I was like, this is going to take a weird turn. And
I know, I was like, please, no more rape scenes. No more rape scenes.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
And so she kicks him off. She actually kicks her shoe off as well, which I thought was, I don't know if that was on purpose or by accident, but I was like, her shoe fell off. And she sort of hobbles back into the cupboard. She pours herself some whiskey. She says she lives in a floating world and she's always 2 steps ahead of her prey. Some very important last words, I guess. And you are sort of getting ready for Jessica Lange as Fiona Good to get into another really deep monologue. She starts off remembering about a long time ago when her mother brought her a little calico cat. And then, bam! She got everything that maybe she deserved. The Axeman lived up to his name. He chopped and chopped and chopped and carved his instrument into her, and we end up learning that he fed her remains to the alligators. To which Misty Day says that even she can't bring anything back from alligator shit. So there she is, Fiona Good, dead. And there's the Axeman in front of all of the witches, and they sort of debate over what they're going to do to him. Myrtle suggests where there's music, there can be no evil. Frank and Kyle offers to finish him off since he is the Coven's quote-unquote guard dog, but the witches insist that nobody messes with their Coven, and they decide to take the Axemen into their own hands, and they basically kill him the same way that the witches in the beginning, from the Axeman's time, killed him by just stabbing him to death. So before I continue on and talking about...
Well, we also have to state that Cordelia explains that he was on the human plane because of a spell. The spell released him. So evidently, Zoe released him, and he was human the entire time. So she transformed him
which
from
makes
ghost.
sense.
She transformed him from ghost to human, and that's why he was able to leave and walk in the earthly plane.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Which makes more sense than he's a ghost and having ghost sex with
She's
Fiona.
an old lady, like hunched down.
Old lady, real hunched. Get yourself to hunchy town.
But you called it it's interesting because you called it and you were so fervent about it, and Dead Lee was like, I don't see that happening because she's the star of the show. Well, I guess Ryan Murphy reminded us that she ain't the star of the show. that there are several stars.
Well, this
in
isn't
the
the
show.
first time that she's died before the final episode. She died in the same episode, the penultimate episode last season as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. She's only survived the whole season in the first season. So, Marshall, your homework before the new season comes is you have to watch American Horror Story Murder House and American Horror Story Asylum.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. That's not happening.
Yes.
I think you should watch Murder House.
I think you would enjoy them.
Asylum, because Asylum to me was the scariest.
I don't think Asylum was scary. It was dark. It was out of the two, it's the darker one.
I felt like there was no emotional let up. There were some parts but for the most part, it was just like it took an emotional toll. Like when I got
it's
done,
definitely
I
the
felt
darker
so
one.
drained.
It's definitely the darker one, but it had some really fantastic performances. I mean, everyone was top notch, and it's really what I've enjoyed out of seeing all of these different seasons is seeing the completely different character, the completely different approach to and the character elements that the actors take upon. Because as much as we sort of bitch about Cordelia, we loved Sarah Paulson as Lana Banana from season 2. So it's interesting to see everyone change and take on these new roles. Season 1 was a little bit of a mix of the light and the dark. Season 2 was much more dark. And I can't believe I'm saying this, especially in a season where there was like Madame Lalaurie doing all the hideous thing that she was doing and things like that, and the incest and all that stuff. But season 3 was definitely a bit lighter in tone than
campy.
The other seasons. It was much more campy and that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think you should see them. I think you would enjoy them.
No, because I don't like horror.
No, well, you watched through all this.
Yeah, but see,
but these are like this season is completely different.
Right. I can't.
I think you would like Murder House over Asylum.
Yeah. Oh, hands down.
The name of it is Murder House. That's all I need to know.
Think of it this way. It's like
they've had more murders this season.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, I guess, almost like just a haunted house tale.
Yeah, it's a haunted house.
Yeah,
it's a house where a lot of bad things happen.
Potatoes behind people's stories, and it really goes into depth of people's stories. And they like it. I think you would just enjoy it over season 2.
And Jessica Lange kills it as Constance.
It was too damn scary. It was too damn much.
Jessica Lange killed it as Constance, and the actress that played Nan is in it. She plays Jessica Lange's character's daughter.
Okay.
It's nice. As far as Fiona dying, I liked it. I thought it was the right thing to do. I agree. I did not see the Axeman actually killing her, but I liked the way that it happened because she didn't really even see it coming. It was interesting. I mean, she really was about to go into a long-ass monologue about a calico cat, and then all of a sudden, bam, she's dead. So that was really good, and I like how they got rid of her, and I like how they got rid of the Axeman. Everything just fit perfectly. I mean, Zoe and Kyle, I know that we sort of covered it before, but, just in talking about the previous seasons, I mean, it was like they were trying to recapture season 1 and Tate and Violet and their love, and for me, it just didn't work. From what I've seen as far as comments on other message boards and things like that, there are some people that really like their love. I still kind of don't understand their love. I mean, they had this connection at the party. He died, she brought him back, and then it's very weird, and but besides that, because we're not even talking about that right now, just that whole scene with the Axeman and Fiona was beautifully shot, and it was fantastic, it was riveting to see, and I really enjoyed it. What did everyone else think?
Well, like I said, she called it last week. Dead Lee was skeptical. He was very much defending the fact that Jessica Lange was a star, and that he didn't see that happening. But you were very fervent, Kat. You were very fervent that she was going to, because she is so selfish and she's so mean-spirited and she's always only about herself, she's going to end up doing something to the Axeman, and he's going to turn and kill her. And that's exactly what happened.
Boom, boom.
I had to give
Look
it
at
to
me.
you because I agreed with you. I said I could see that happening because she is so selfish. So for me, because she was so selfish, yeah, I definitely, and I hope that we're going to talk about what happened to Lullaby and those guys
Oh
because,
yes, we're going to talk
okay,
about that
because
next.
we got to find out what happened to them and their death, but we never found out what happened to her, and that's the only thing that makes me suspect about whether she's really dead.
I know. Well, let's talk a little bit about that because there are a lot of people on the web that feel the same way, and
I well,
they're
I,
kind of like, well, maybe she's not dead. Maybe with witchcraft, she sort of implanted that type of vision with the Axeman, so that because she knew that Cordelia was going to read him or something like that. And I don't know. I'm hoping that she isn't alive.
Me too. Because that'll just be like that'll make the whole series and the whole show to me. It'll really really make it where it's like I don't really want to watch any more of these ever again because it just would be the most horrible writing ever. Like if
Yeah,
you're gonna
I
kill
have a
her,
feeling.
kill her.
I have a feeling she's dead. I don't think that she could come back. I have a feeling that Fiona is dead. I don't think that they would do that because that would. I don't know. It just. She had like her perfect ending. Like that was the best ending that they could have done with Fiona. Like I just can't
it was tragic.
see them
It was
doing that.
like
And Ryan Murphy has
visceral.
already stated that the last episode we would see the new Supreme. So I don't know. I don't think that they're going to go in that direction. Hopefully I don't eat my words next week and then we all say how much it sucked. But I'm hopeful that Fiona is dead, and who knows, maybe we will see what happened to her next episode. I mean, I'm not saying we might not see Fiona next episode. I'm just saying hopefully we don't see her alive. We see her
Right.
in her afterlife.
Right.
So, what did you think of Fiona's death, Miss Kitty? Or I should call you Miss Cleo? Or should I call you Calico Cat?
Haha, I got it now. Look at me being smart. I prefer Miss Cleo. Call me now. Call me Sadie.
I keep it real for the young ones. I keep it real for the young ones.
I can't. That's as much as the accent I'm going to do. I suck at accents. But no, I liked it. I thought it was
Next
amazing.
Carla.
I thought it was really good. I liked how, like you said, she was straight up about to start talking about her
Her cat.
cat, and he was like, "Not tonight, girl. We like, girl. This is like
Exactly. I'm tired of listening to
he's
your
like,
stories.
this is like, he was like, girl, next Wednesday you ain't wearing black because your shit is done." He was like, "Goodbye, you've been chopped." Like it was great, and I like that chemistry between those two. But I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's over with. I'm mad they they took him out the way that he like went out in the first place. That was pretty cool. But I was just shocked. I'm just mad like they pulled themselves together like the second to last episode and they wasted so many episodes of just filled with air. Stevie
Yeah.
Nicks.
Yeah, the Stevie Nicks concert.
Rihanna.
It's a Stevie Nicks private event. We were all invited via Facebook.
Yeah, I had to Google what a calico cat was, and they're actually cute. And I just learned that the majority of them are female.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look at what a gin Ricky is.
It's a drink.
It does not look tasty. It looks like something
It's like an old people
Southern
drink.
would drink. Yes.
It's like an old people
And
drink.
people make
We'll
fun
ask.
of me because I like whiskey sours, and people call me old. Like, no, this gin Ricky is for people who like to sit on their plantation porch and just watch the sun go down, and you got to have a long ass straw with it. Looks like something they served in Django. It's just not for me. I would have ran from it too, girl. Gin Rickies, try Bloody Marys. Bye. Appletinis, bitch.
Well, let's talk about a place where they're certainly not giving out appletinis. We find out what happened to Madame Lalaurie. In her own personal hell, she found herself imprisoned in her torture chamber, where she brought an end to many lives. Her beloved daughter, Bolkita, was a few cages away from her, and as well as some of her other children, in a much vicious state, some of them with their mouths sewn together, eyes sewn together, and there was Marie Laveau, threatening Bolkita with a branding iron, telling her, I'm either going to stick it down your throat or stick it up your ass. But at that moment, Marie became confused and sort of snapped out of that trance-like state that she was in, and she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to hurt anyone. Why was she doing this? Why, was she becoming the very thing that she had once despised, the mistress of the house, abusing innocent souls and trapped in a torture chamber? And then Papa Legba strolled in to inform them both that these hellish conditions existed for one simple reason. They were in hell. And that fact sort of became confusing for Marie. She couldn't understand why she was there. She was good to people, but not to everyone. Papa reminded her that of all of those babies that were banished to his realm for all eternity. He goes on to say, no one gets away with sin. Eventually, everybody pays. Everybody suffers. Now get back to work. And that's when the screaming began all over again. So as we all said, we didn't get a chance to see Fiona's afterlife. Maybe we'll get to see it in the finale. But we are sent back to the academy where they're placing the portrait of Fiona up on the wall. All of the potential Supremes say very nice things about Fiona. But then Cordelia says the truth. She was a horrible Supreme, and it's time to start all over again. That they would start Sunday bright and early with the 7 Wonders. So, what did everyone think of Papa Legba, Madame Lalaurie, Marie Laveau, Bolkita, and the painting of Fiona? We'll start off with our own Calico Cat.
It was, oh my goodness. Okay, I have to agree with Marshall. The end where he was like, everybody pays, everybody suffers, that scared the shit out of me. Like, I was just like, dang. But I felt like Marie Laveau got the better end of the stick. Like, at least you get to torture her for all eternity. Like, yeah, it sucks. You can't take pictures with your iPhone and play Candy Crush on your iPad. But you get to torture her instead of...
Well, she's not torturing her. I think the punishment is that Lalaurie needs to see the ones, or at least the one daughter that she really loved, suffer. And Lalaurie can't do anything about it.
Oh.
Right. And then also because, and I also think that the punishment for Marie is being in service to the Dark One for the rest of eternity.
Sucks to be them.
So I mean, it's like, it looks like, oh, she had the better end of the stick, but not if in her heart that's not really who she is.
Yeah.
Because we also saw, I'm assuming that Lalaurie will get some torture, because we did see her get sliced because Bolkita was thirsty, and so she got fed Lalaurie's blood. But I think her hell is more so watching her loved ones, because, as we saw in the present day, she was getting tortured, and, because she's so used to her getting hurt in that way, I don't think it would...
be a hell.
It'd be a hell. It wouldn't hit her as hard as like watching Bolkita getting tortured in the same manner that Lalaurie was torturing the slaves.
What I didn't understand was why Bolkita was there, though, because Bolkita didn't... Oh, no.
Well, here's the thing. It might just be a manifestation of Bolkita. It might not actually be.
No. Bolkita was the reason why the Minotaur was created, because she was messing around.
That could have been
She was messing around with the slave.
She technically raped him.
Mm-hmm. And then he ended up being punished for it. So now, and tortured in the same way that she's now being tortured.
Yeah.
So everybody had to pay. And that's what's so scary is that, you're going through life, you think, I've been good to people, but you forget about all the people that you've been bad to. We tend to do that as human beings. And I think that's what makes that scene so scary. Because it's just like, oh my God, I think about all the people, I've been good to and try to love and honor, but I don't think about all the people that I've been mean to and nasty to, and like didn't forgive and all these other things. So that's what makes that scene so scary.
But it was great. It was great, though. I loved it. I was not disappointed. I was actually shocked with myself how happy and pleased I was with this episode. Like, I was just expecting to be disappointed again, and he definitely delivered. And for some reason, I thought I was going to be seeing a preview for next season in this episode. So I was watching hard. I was watching really, really, really hard. But do you think, Ryan Murphy? I'm back. I'm back as a fan, but
Right.
only on certain terms.
Well, I will say that, the whole circus thing, when that has been going on out there that they've been talking about, I kind of saw in this episode when Queenie goes into the hell, the first thing that you see are the Ferris, not the Ferris wheel, the what do you call the horses? Those horses that go around in a circle, the merry-go-round. Carousel. You see a carousel, and then you see her. And I was like, why
Wait, what?
was there when they were doing? Remember how they were doing those split scenes where they were just bouncing, and you didn't know what was going on, and things were kind of warped because she had just now got to hell. Do you know what I'm talking about? When she first gets to hell, when Queenie wakes up and she's in hell, she transitions in hell. When she first get there, everything is warped. Remember, she did, by the way, trans, whatever you call it. What is it? Move from one place to another place. She did it when she was in hell. Go back and look at the scene, guys. When she first gets to hell and she wakes up and she's down there, the first thing you see is the carousel thing. Then all of a sudden it pops her, and then she pops from one part of the room and she pops up closer to the screen. Now, I don't know if that was supposed to be imagery in hell or if that was her actually using the power.
I don't know. I
can't respond to any of that because I am not certain I remember any of that.
Yeah.
But I will definitely go back and look.
Yeah, because remember that scene when she was in hell, things were first kind of warped. They didn't come into view until later.
Yeah, I have my own theory about season 5, which I will discuss during the spoiler section.
Right. Okay. But anyway, I don't know if that's what's going to be, but I just noticed that. I will say that my heart was broken that it's just see Marie down there, but she did deserve to be there because
yeah, she did. I agree with you, Marshall. I was like, why is she there? But then, if you really think about it, I mean, she has done some bad things, even though we like her and she may have done the bad things for the right reason. But I mean, she's done her stuff, and like to have to give up her child and then child after child or 300 years. You know, that it makes sense why she's there. I mean, you don't make a deal with him, and expect roses at the end.
Right, and particularly since she's the one that the what's the name of the deal? The parameters of the deal was that she would give something to him, but the deal itself was her soul. She sold her soul. Yeah, that's how she paid for it.
Yeah. Although they could have put her back together. If she's immortal, she would still be alive.
But you got to find the pieces.
Exactly.
Lalaurie is not going to tell you all. I mean, Lalaurie wasn't going to tell you all the.
Ain't that the truth?
So,
but a fitting end to a fantastic episode. So we're gonna just jump into a little bit of spoilers. There isn't really that much information because next week is the season finale, and they're trying not to release any info. So, listeners, it's time to get a little spoiler. If you don't want to hear any spoilers for any upcoming episodes of American Horror Story Coven, I suggest you turn your volume down low because it's officially a spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
And I don't even know if this would be considered a spoiler because we're talking about next season, but very little information has come out about season 5. There were initially the fan-made circus rumor that had come out, which sort of somewhat sounded intriguing and maybe like it could be a possibility. And then Ryan Murphy, as I believe I mentioned it was either last episode or the episode before, that he had said that it would take place in 1950s, and Jessica Lange was already practicing a German accent. So we've learned another tiny tidbit of information that the next season is going to take place in either one of two potential filming locations. Ryan Murphy said that it will either stay in New Orleans or it's going to move to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Santa Fe has been the city that they've been talking about for a while now, so I'm going to assume that it's not going to stay in New Orleans and it's going to move to Santa Fe. And if they move it to Santa Fe, the year 1950s, Santa Fe, New Mexico, it seems that they might be going the alien route.
Ew, I don't like anything with aliens. It's just not, I don't know. It's not that, like, oh, it's scary. It's just like, or the fact that I feel like it's overdone because it's not. A lot of people don't really breach into the alien territory. But I was just never really fascinated by aliens or really entertained by them. That was more or less like my dad's territory. I don't know. But I mean, if that's what they want to do, I'll tune in, Ryan Murphy. Remember, you got me on consignment, but we'll see. I just hope not, and I hope they don't keep it in New Orleans either, because you didn't even utilize it when you had it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the 1950s, they definitely aren't going to be showing black people.
No, and I'm not trying to be in that weird mood that I was in, because you guys showed so much racial stuff, and you talking about you may stay in New Orleans, you may stay in the South in the 1950s. Not on tonight. You will not. She won't be watching. Like, I will not. Like, it's just weird. Like, to me, I feel like I take Black history very seriously, and I feel like it's not something to market as far as trying to entertain people, because if people want to learn history, they will learn it, not by watching some crackpot's version of what they think our history, or I'm sorry, what African Americans' history is. It's not meant to be entertaining. It's not meant to be something that you tune in with your family with, because that shit is harsh, and it doesn't touch people the way it would touch an African American person or a person who lived in the South at that time. It won't touch some of these people. Some people don't even know that some of this shit happened. And I couldn't do with it. Please take your ass up to Portland in 1950. At least I know I don't have to worry about seeing no crazy shit right there.
Well, I'm going to say it'll be very interesting. I'm not making any assumptions about that. But I do hope that before we finish, we are going to make our predictions about finale. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, I may tune in if it's something interesting. And, I'm very clear that the reason why I tuned in this year was you were dealing with witches, and witch folklore, which I'm very interested in. You were placing it in New Orleans, which is one of my favorite cities in the entire country, and its history and its legacy and the Gothic past and and all of that, which some of it was not displayed at all during the season. And also because, and I'll say it, plain, also because it was going to be Kathy Bates, Angela Bassett, and Gabby Sidibe were going to be on the show. And that's another reason why I wanted to watch the season. So you got to give me somebody interesting next season, and you got to give me something that's going to get my attention. Because right now, Santa Fe, New Mexico don't get my attention.
No, it doesn't. I like using prominent history figures, but using them correctly. That's what made me want to watch Coven so much. Like, not only because it was American Horror Story, but I was like, boo, like, you're gonna have two prominent history figures that people don't even know exist. That, like, I don't know, but I knew who Marie Laveau was. I especially knew who Delphine was.
Delphine Lalaurie, yes.
Yes, I've known who she was since I was a child.
I knew who she was because my family comes out of Louisiana.
Well, I don't know where my family comes from, but I love history. I love history. I love it. Especially, I love American history. But that right there, I was just like, people don't know who she is. People don't know that she really did this stuff. Like it's in history. Like, but then again, like, I have to remember, like, not everybody focuses on the negativity of history necessarily. So whatever. But I just feel like, don't put it in New Orleans. You're wasting your time because, like I said, you didn't use it. You didn't use it the way that you should have. it's such a mystic place. It's such a crazy, just very, very I don't want to, like, paranormal city.
Mm-hmm.
It's very spooky, and you didn't utilize it the way that you should have. I wanted to see more voodoo, more. And I don't want to see just Marie Laveau as voodoo. I want to see a little bit of voodoo culture, because voodoo in itself is fucking scary. It is, to me, is terrifying.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Just look at the skeleton
Like,
key and Eve's bayou.
Well, yeah,
anything
but
about it,
but I think
scary.
yeah,
But
it's
I
scary.
love the
But
skeleton key.
the reality is that if you're scared of voodoo, then you should be scared of Catholicism, and you should be scared of Christianity, because the reality is voodoo is the mystic form. It was basically the slaves using the Catholic symbols, which they were forced upon them, to using the saints as the gods that they had been worshiping from the beginning. And voodoo is really not Hollywood's version of it, and that's
Well, I
I
mean
think
it
is what
that
makes it
way.
scary. Yeah,
If you
yeah,
don't, like I said, if you don't truly know anything about voodoo, it's terrifying. If
right.
if you would have played off of almost the skeleton key, but
I love the skeleton
put
key.
like
It made me fall in
factual
love with
things
Kate
in
Hudson.
there, that would have been amazing. Really use that and play that up. I'm confused. Like, we weren't in Salem, boo boo. Why was it so much? Why was it so much about witches? Which I personally feel like maybe it should have been the takeover of voodoo. Maybe, Marie Laveau was trying to take her, her city back. Who fucking knows? I think that would have been amazing. But I don't know what to think for season 4. I just hope that he, like, really utilizes, stop going for all these shock factors such as race and gang rape. Really, like, I want you to scare the shit out of me and really make me think, not so much from a paranormal view, but even maybe a common factor of being alone, a home alone, and someone being in your house. Simple stuff like that. Play on, an American's version of a horror story, not so much focus on paranormal. You know what I
I
mean?
still want them at a summer camp. I would love
That would
for
be
a season
good.
where they're in a summer camp that's like a throwback to like the 80s slasher type of stuff, a little bit
Sleepaway
of
camp.
exactly, a little bit of Jason, maybe even mix in Freddy Krueger or something, the creepy people in the
Or
woods.
that
I
one
don't know.
guy, that plumber from Salute Your Shorts.
No, that's not scary.
It scared the shit
But,
out of me when I was a kid.
Oh, good grief.
Salute
Okay,
your
so-
shorts. Okay.
You remember
You've never
that
seen
TV
Salute Your
show?
Shorts? Well,
No.
Oh, his
Marshall
name was,
is Marshall
it
is
was
like
Zeke
100.
the plumber. I'm telling you, when I was a kid, it scared the shit out of me. I saw that episode in broad daylight. To this day, I'm 23 years old. I still can't watch that damn TV show.
Good lord. It was a kiddie show on Nickelodeon. It's really not as big as she's making it sound like it was Tales
good,
from the
but
Crypt.
that episode was fucking scary. Look up who Zeke the plumber is. Look up watch that episode and tell me that's not the scariest fucking thing you ever seen
Good
before in your
grief.
life.
Yes, like the episode where they all got lost on Hey Dude.
Oh, that
No.
episode! Why are you even bringing up Hey Dude? Hey Dude is it's a disgrace.
I loved Hey
And
Dude,
you know
but it
what?
was
It
so.
doesn't shock me that you like Hey Dude, because the
I
cool
loved Hey
kids
Dude.
like Salute Your Shorts.
No, I love Salute Your Shorts too.
Can't like both. That's
You
like
can.
that's like
They were like on at
that's like
separate
liking
times.
Double Dare and then liking
What would you do?
I don't like Double Dare. Fuck Double Dare. I was Legends of the Hidden Temple all the way. You couldn't like both. Only Legends of the Hidden Temple was for the hardcore kids. The
Well,
kids
wild
that
and
didn't mind
crazy
getting molested
kids.
by a damn oak tree. Like
Oh god.
those
Wild
kids.
and crazy kids. But it's completely off topic. Okay, so
And
moving
I'm
back to the actual
completely
show.
Confused. So
Yes.
I'll give you a
So this
classic
is like
there.
this is Nickelodeon from like the early 90s. Okay. Moving back to American Horror Story Coven. Before we leave, let's give our predictions for the Supreme. I will give mine.
you go first.
And yeah, so okay, here's what I'm going to give my explanation and then I'll give who I want. So, if they go the Hollywood route, it's going to end up being Zoe. Why? Because they started off the series with Zoe, so they're going to end it with her. Even though she was the forefront of like the first couple episodes, then she vanished and then she came back. It started off seeming like she was going to be like Harry Potter and like the world of Miss Robichaux's was going to be like Hogwarts, but then she ended up they ended up kicking her to the side, and then they showed everybody else, and now they're bringing her back. So if they want to go the Hollywood route, it's going to be her. I highly doubt it's going to be Madison. Like, I don't think she has a shot at it. I just don't see them going that route because it would be Fiona Part 2. If they want to go a way that is more hopeful in uniting the realm of the Salem witches and the world of the voodoo, they would pick Queenie. If they want to go the route of maybe just more peaceful and harmonious, they're going to go Misty Day. If they want to go the shocker, they're going to pick Cordelia, because I still feel like she has a shot. I personally would like Queenie to be the next Supreme. That's just my choice. Gabrielle Sidibe, although, is not in the main credits, so it's probably not going to be her. But I would personally like Queenie. If I made up the rules, a lot of them would not be able to be the Supreme because the Supreme needs to be in perfect health. And in my opinion, if you have died, you cannot be Supreme. Like, that's just my rules. I don't think they're following with those rules, but that's what they should have stuck with. Because if the Supreme is supposed to be in pinnacle health, you cannot die. Because once you die, you're not in pinnacle health. So that would, like, cancel out Madison. I don't care if she came back from the dead without the heart murmur. The point is that she died. That would not cancel out Queenie because, in my opinion, if you die and you bring yourself back, that's a power in and of itself. So you should not, that death shouldn't count. Misty Day would not count if I went by the rules that I just made up, because although she did bring herself back from the dead, the second time that she died, she needed help. Mm-hmm. And so once someone brings you back, to me, that should cancel you out. So if I were to go by those rules, only Zoe, Queenie, and Cordelia would count. And I don't know. I'm thinking they're probably going to end up picking Zoe, but I would rather Queenie be the Supreme. And that's my choice, and I'm sticking to it. Marshall, who would you pick?
Well, before I say who I would pick, I'm going to say what I think is going to happen. I actually think all the girls are going to die. I don't think that there's going to be a Supreme, I think there's going to be a Supreme, but I don't think there's going to be a Coven. I think by looking at things, it's probably going to end up being Cordelia, and Cordelia is going to sacrifice all the girls. Because we all know that the rule is if you do the 7 wonders and you fail at them, you die. She's put all the girls up and said they all have to do it. So that means all the girls have to die. That's the only way you know who the real Supreme is.
Yes, that makes sense.
So everybody that takes the test, either you're the Supreme or you die. And so it goes back to the fact that, Jessica Lange's character made it very clear that Queenie had to do the test. It wasn't so that she would figure out whether she was the Supreme or not. She would eventually eliminate all the girls. She would eliminate all the girls. So when I look at it, if you look at that flashback, all the girls died, and the 4 ways that they were dead all connect to, guess what?
The posters.
They connect to the posters, which all were the 7 wonders.
Which posters?
Cordelia was the only one that had a gun.
But the promos.
Each one of the girls were dead in a different way. One of them looked like that they were dead, were burned. One of them looked like something was thrown at her. So each one of them were died because of wonders. Each one of them died.
What did Cordelia die of?
She had the gun.
I mean, that was a bullet.
That's my whole point. She had a gunshot bullet to the head, which means that's something that a human being would do. That's what leads me to believe that Cordelia is probably the Supreme. And the girls are all going to die anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then Big Red shoots her in the head.
Well, I don't know if Big Red's going to even... I think Big Red knows that Cordelia is the Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she knows that. I think she's been knowing that. Because she's been too calm. And she's been pushing her like, oh, look at the sacrifice she made for the Coven.
But I don't think why would she let the other girls just die if she already knows?
I think, Big Red? Well, because she's not in control of that.
Mm-hmm.
She's not in control of that. Cordelia is now in control of that. And remember, she keeps saying that, she calls her little girl. I believe Big Red believes Cordelia is her daughter, period. So if that means that all the other girls have to die for her to realize who she is, it is what it is. If that happens, I will say I will be completely livid and completely pissed off. And I'll be really angry because it would be like, really? Then you would really hate Cordelia. Like, really, seriously. Because you'd be like, you dumb bitch. Seriously. If I had my choice of who I'd like, I would want it to be Queenie. And I'm not saying that just because I'm an African-American man. I'm saying that because if there's anybody that could pull together the worlds of voodoo and witchcraft, and the only person that I've seen throughout the season who has manifested the powers in very clear, unique ways, reading her Miss Girl's mind at the table, bringing people back to life. All the different things and her power seems to be very, very strong compared to even Madison. Her power seems to be very strong.
And she's weld the power of the beef curtains.
Oh, God. So for me, my choice would be Queenie. I would want Queenie to be the one, but I have something in my gut and my spirit tells me it's going to probably end up being Cordelia.
Yeah.
If it's Zoe, I'm going to be livid.
Oh,
I could deal
grief.
with Misty Gay. I could deal with Misty Day. I could deal if it's Misty. I could. I cannot deal if it's Zoe. I cannot deal if it's Madison. And I cannot deal if it's Cordelia. If it's any one of those, I will not be happy. So
Yeah. So, moving on to someone else who knows about the power of the beef curtains, Calico Cat. Who do you think?
That's gross. No, I think it's going to be... I don't feel like it's going to be Misty Day. I feel like as far as if TV does the way TV does it, I feel like it's going to be Madison. Because
Really?
I really do. I feel like it's going to be Madison because it's almost going to be like... she's like... What's her face? She's like... what girl's name? I'm sorry, Fiona. She's like Fiona. And that's probably... It's going to be like the second reign of Fiona. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be her just out of spite. Like, do you really keep her going this along? Do you really have her, like, be the sassy one and then you just make me hate her? Like, I just feel like she's going to be it. I really wanted Nan to be the Supreme. I thought that would have been really fucking cool. But, like, she's taken out of the run. Like, she didn't even get a background story. Like, they did her dirty. But she did get a good one-liner in. But I felt like a one-liner doesn't do justice for injustice. So...
And she did make the lady drink some bleach.
She did, like,
so that was good.
She was like, put that cigarette in your vagina. She was like, okay. Like, she was doing it, and then they just killed her off. Like, that would have been awesome to see all the original witches come back, and who is the Supreme? And I would have been... Did y'all see her at the Golden Globes? Boom, bitch, had it, Supreme, crown it, have a seat, burn. I don't give a fuck what you do. Nan would have been an amazing Supreme. But I just don't, I think as an interesting story, it would be for Cordelia to be the Supreme and have no coven to reign over. That would be like, I just feel like that would be so sad. And I feel like it would almost be like the season 2 ending where you won, but you didn't really win. Like, you won because you're alive, but bitch, did you really win? Like, did you really win?
And because all the girls are dead. Exactly.
Like, woohoo, you're the Supreme, but bitch, did you really win? That, like, sit down, think about it, child. Because, like, I don't feel that way. I would just want to feel the way that I did the first episode. I want to feel everything is closed. It was a good story. I left on a good enough note that it doesn't fuck with me and sit with me and eat at my soul. But I want it to be enough for me to be like, damn. But I just feel like I just don't want Cordelia to be it. I just feel like it would be so heavy. And
I don't know.
Campiness that it was. But I just if it is her, hey.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went that route, but I don't know if I would 100% buy it, just because everyone else has been like manifesting new powers, and Cordelia hasn't really been manifesting anything besides her second sight.
Yeah, but don't forget that the thing about the show, you have to listen to what everybody is saying. Jessica Lange said it very clearly this last episode. Your gifts were never given to you by me. They were manifested within you. You blocked your own gifts. I believe that Mother knew that it was her to begin with. That's why she didn't have a problem killing her.
But do you think she knew from the jump, or do you think she was?
No, I think she figured it out, though.
Because that was crazy.
Because I think that's why she became verbally abusive toward her, and I think she recognized that her daughter was really the one that was, you know what I mean? I really do. I think that's why, and I would not be shocked if we find out it's Cordelia, and then all of a sudden we do a flashback, and Jessica Lange's in it, and you're going step by step, and her recognizing that it's her daughter.
That's just
maybe that's just
maybe
that's Fiona's hell.
Maybe she really felt like, that she was just like, I'm bonding with her, but when she started to realize it, she thought that it would be better to tear her down, so it'd be easier to kill her.
To kill her off.
But that's just because, I just feel like there's so much that could happen. Please don't let it be Zoe. Please just get rid of her. Drop her on a boat.
Well,
you can wear cement shoes. I don't care.
Drop a house on her.
Didn't we see her trying to kill one of the girls?
Who?
In the
No, we see her making out with stupid Frank and Kyle, and
she's trying to strangle one of the girls. She was strangling.
They were playing they were controlling Kyle's mind in the promo.
Yeah, Frank and Kyle is choking.
Yeah, Madison is controlling him to choke Zoe.
Yeah.
I just feel like I understand that it's the season finale, but I just felt like I just wish that they didn't put their story in the season finale, because I don't give a fuck about their story.
But the thing is,
love triangle, and I know it's a filler, and I know they're just we don't want to give too much away. But I'm just I really hope that this is worth it, because I'm excited for it, because Glenn Close is going to be in it. Hey,
well, we don't know yet. That was the rumor.
Oh, but it was on IMDb. That's for real.
No, the IMDb is never always real.
Oh, it's like the Wikipedia
but it could possibly
film.
Exactly. But let's be hopeful that she is in it. But we do know that our girl Stevie's there.
I'm done.
But what does that mean? Is she gonna sing at Fiona's funeral?
She better.
Is she singing there because Misty Day is the supreme? I don't know.
Please.
Well, is she singing in the?
Yes, Rihanna.
Oh, God.
She's gonna take up 45 minutes again.
She really is. Hopefully she's singing while Zoe
That's all she does. She's gonna sing her
and Madison are dealing
lines.
with their stuff.
She's only gonna only gonna respond in song.
The other thing that I can see is that they choose Madison. Then if they choose Madison, then that's their way of killing off all the other girls, because Madison made it very clear that if she's the Supreme, she's going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though?
They'll start off with Big Red.
I feel like something's gonna come true, because they put those I feel like they put those promos out for a reason. Those promos, they tell you what the fuck is going on. People just they fucking jizz in their pants and shit when they see but those promos and the title tells you what's going on. It gives you hints as to what's going to happen. And so far it's been true, especially in the first season, in the title where they're showing the credits and the names or whatever. If you pay attention, he pretty much tells you, he gives you hints as to what's going on and what's going to happen in the season. And I feel because there was a part in the promo where the girls were on walls, and I feel like that has to come true eventually. I feel like all these bitches
where the
gonna
girls
die.
Are on what?
They're hanging on the walls. They're on the walls.
You're talking about the the teasers of the season.
I feel like those have to work in somewhere, just like the 3 women who had a snake in their mouth. That worked. Somehow that worked its way in. The threesome worked its way in. I just don't want it to I don't want to feel empty.
Yeah, but don't get fooled by that, because yeah, I mean there's even in the opening credits, there's stuff we haven't seen. There's that weird stick-looking creature that's in the forest, and that has nothing to do with the
Blair
show.
Witch.
So.
It's the Blair Witch.
Oh,
it was in Maryland. They're trying to get there. The Blair Witch is there. Boom. Blair Witch. There's witchcraft.
That's not what the show is about. No. But before we start talking about Hocus Pocus or something like that with the classic with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy, let's actually start wrapping this up. Join us next time for our final installment of Are You Afraid, Coven? We will be back next week to talk all about the season finale and give all of our opinions, because you know that we're all opinionated about this show. Please like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid? # Team Queenie. That's facebook.com/the letter P, the letter C, the letter R, and then the words Are You Afraid? Also like Papi Chulo Radio on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Papi Chulo Radio. You can email us any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns at contact@papichuloradio.com. Co-host, please wish the listeners a good night.
Team Queenie.
Team Nan.
Team Regina. Team Regina.
Team Regina? Who the hell is Regina?
No, I said... I can't remember.
he's-
I said Beetlejuice. Team Beetlejuice.
I love the Beetlejuice reference. And Marshall's probably now realizing who Regina is.
No, I don't know who Regina is. Who's Regina?
The evil queen.
Oh, duh.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next Wednesday for our own season finale at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for our final installment of Are You Afraid, Coven. Good night, everyone.
Good night.